For an industry that literally builds the world around us, construction has been kind of stuck in the past for a long, long time. But that's all changing. A huge tech revolution is happening right now, and it's set to completely overhaul everything from how fast we build to how safe we are on site. So let's get into it. So, why the big push for change right now? Well, it all boils down to this one kind of shocking number: 1%. That's it. For the last 2 decades, that's been the average annual productivity growth for the entire construction industry. Just 1%. And if that 1% doesn't sound too bad on its own, well, let's put it in perspective. Take a look at this. While construction was crawling along at 1%, the world economy, it was growing at 2.8%. And manufacturing, an industry that's pretty similar in a lot of ways, was absolutely soaring at 3.6%. That gap, that's not just a problem, right? That's a massive, massive opportunity. And keep in mind, we're not talking about some small niche sector here. This is the biggest industry on the entire planet. It represents a staggering 13% of the world's GDP. I mean, think about that. Even a tiny little improvement in efficiency here creates these huge ripple effects across the whole global economy. And that, right there, is exactly where technology comes into the picture. Okay, so what's the key that's going to unlock all this potential? It really all comes down to one single thing: data. Yep, data is the new foundation. It's literally what the future of the entire built environment is being constructed on. I love this quote. It just nails it. Not that long ago, oil was the most valuable thing on the planet. But now, in this digital age we're in, data is king. And think about it. A construction site is just a massive data factory, pumping out incredible amounts of information every single day. Now, this whole shift has a name. It's called Industry 4.0. You can basically think of it as the fourth industrial revolution. But instead of steam or electricity, this one is being driven entirely by automation and, you guessed it, data. The companies that figure out how to harness this, well, they're the ones who are going to have a serious edge over everyone else. Okay, so there's a lot of new tech flying around, right? To really get a handle on it all, it helps to break it down. Let's think of it as a kind of tech toolkit, organized into 3 really clear, interconnected layers. It's simple, really. First up, you've got your technology enablers. These are the tools that actually gather all the data. Then you have the digital solutions, which take that data and make sense of it. And finally, there's on-site execution, which is where all this tech gets put to work in the real world. Let's start at the very bottom with the foundation. All right, layer 1, technology enablers. And let's be really clear here, this layer is the absolute bedrock of this entire system. It's pretty simple. If you don't have these tools to gather good, accurate data, then none of the cool, flashy stuff we're going to talk about later can even exist. It all starts here. And at the very heart of these enablers is the idea of big data. Gartner has this famous definition for it, the 3 V's. We're talking high volume, high velocity, and high variety. Just imagine it. All this information flooding in from sensors, from drones, from digital plans, all at the same time. It's this tidal wave of complex data, and you absolutely need powerful new tools just to begin to understand it. A really cool example of an enabler is something called a digital twin. What is that? It's an exact digital copy of a real-world thing, like a building that's being constructed. It pulls in real-time data from sensors and acts like a bridge between the physical and digital worlds. This lets teams run simulations, test things out, and perfect everything before they ever touch a single thing on the actual job site. Super powerful. So how does that digital twin get its information? That's where the Internet of Things, or IoT, comes in. We're talking about maybe thousands of tiny internet-connected sensors stuck on machinery or even wearables that professionals have on. They're all constantly streaming real-time data, everything from equipment health and site conditions to worker safety. All of it just flows right into a central dashboard and boom, you're no longer guessing, you're making decisions based on actual, hard data. Okay, but what makes all that data actually useful? 2 words: mobile and cloud. This is the 1-2 punch that is finally getting rid of those giant piles of paper and those old, out-of-date blueprints. The phone or tablet in your hand connects you straight to the cloud, which is just this secure, central place for every single project document and app. And the best part? It's accessible from anywhere, at any time. All right, so we've got all this amazing data flowing in from the enablers. That brings us to our second layer, digital solutions. Now, this is where the real magic happens. This is where we use powerful software to take all that raw data and turn it into something that actually improves our projects. And two terms you'll hear a lot here are AI and machine learning. Let's break them down. Think of AI, or artificial intelligence, as the big, broad idea of a machine that can mimic human thinking, like problem solving. Machine learning, or ML, is a part of that. It's where you give a system a ton of data, and it uses algorithms to learn from that data to start making its own predictions. And the coolest part is, the more data it gets, the smarter it gets. A perfect example of this in action is building information modeling, or BIM. Now, BIM's been around for a while. It's not brand new, but its use is just skyrocketing right now, mainly because governments in places like the UK and Germany are starting to require it for public projects. What it does essentially is create this super intelligent 3D model of a project that helps literally everyone involved make smarter decisions, all the way from the first drawing to the building's final day.
Then you've got something called robotic process automation, or RPA. Just think of these as little virtual bots that live in your computer. Their whole job is to take over all of those boring, repetitive, rule-based tasks. Things like sending invoices or copying data from one place to another. And what that does is free up talented people to focus on the stuff that really matters, the high-value work that a bot can't do.
And all of that brings us to our third and final layer, on-site execution. This is where the rubber really meets the road. It's where the digital world and the physical world finally connect. We're talking about actual hardware and tech that either helps professionals do their jobs better or, in some cases, does the job right alongside them. You've probably heard of VR and AR, right? The difference is actually pretty simple. With virtual reality, or VR, you put on a headset and you are in a completely different simulated world. This is amazing for things like walking a client through a tour of a building that hasn't even been built yet. Augmented reality, or AR, is different. It keeps you in the real world, but adds digital information on top of what you're seeing. It's perfect for things like collaborating on site. And of course, we've got to talk about the robots, both on the ground and in the air. You're starting to see these single-task robots that can take over really dangerous and repetitive jobs, like welding or laying bricks. You've got autonomous trucks and dozers that are helping to fill some of those critical labor shortages. And drones, they're becoming absolutely essential for surveying huge areas or inspecting spots that are just too risky for a person to go, which is a huge win for both safety and efficiency.
And we can't forget 3D printing. What used to be just a cool novelty is now exploding. It's projected to be a $280 million market just in construction by 2027. And we are not just talking about printing little plastic models anymore. This tech is printing entire building components, and in some cases, even entire houses, straight from a computer file. It's wild.
So, okay, we've just gone through a ton of incredible new tools and technologies. But the big question is, how does it all fit together? Let's take a step back and look at the big picture for a second. And really, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. None of these tools work on their own. They're not isolated gadgets. Their real power, the game-changing power, is only unlocked when they're all connected together in one ecosystem. You have the enablers gathering the data, the solutions processing that data into smart insights, and the on-site tech applying those insights to build things better, faster, and a whole lot safer. So there you have it. We started with the problem, that huge productivity gap, and we've seen this incredible suite of technologies that are here to solve it. The tools are here, the data is here, the enablers, the solutions, the hardware, it's all ready to go. So the only real question left is the one for you. How are you going to build the future?